What is something good going on in the world that a lot of people aren't aware of? They're successfully rewilding beavers in the UK. Many endangered animal species are on the rebound now, such as the bald eagle, humpback whales and Shaw's swallowtail butterflies, due to increased conservational efforts. Teen pregnancy rates hit a historic low in 2022. An eastern black rhino was just born. https://big-life.org/program-update/big-life-news/not-r-imagination, a complete surprise to the rangers who protect the 1,000 remaining in the wild. They are critically endangered, the rarest of the subspecies, and this is a monumental occasion. I lived in Los Angeles during the 80s, in Van Nuys. I didn't realize that there was a mountain range to the north of the valley. I drove through in 2013 and there was very little smog. I have been told by people I know who live there that the smog is like 10 or 20% of what it was in the 80s. Global efforts to reforest areas are making a significant impact. The ozone layer is thickening. I know this is older news, but maybe people aren't aware of it. Researchers/scientists have been working with a bacteria to fight cancers. Bacillus calmette-guerin has been used with some success to fight bladder cancer. Edited for clarity. I work as a mental health therapist. There is certainly a mental health crisis, and there are also a lot of people who are recovering. Most of the people who I see end up recovering and graduating from therapy within a year. We talk a lot about how bad mental health is. We don't talk a lot about recovery in mental health. Sodium-ion batteries might start replacing lithium-ion batteries soon, which would be much better for the environment and generally cheaper or more convenient. Medicine and treatment for many ailments has progressed through the years, improving quality and quantity of life. This graphic, yearly cases of guinea worm in Ethiopia, https://cdn.who.in/media/emergency/figure1_2000525.png?? Status =master. I look this up again when I'm having a bad day or humanity starts to seem awful to me. We can be, but we also did this. We reduced cases of a horrifying, agonizingly painful parasitic infection that destroys lives and livelihoods from over 1,000 cases a year to 7, and that's just in Ethiopia. A lot of hard-working people did some amazingly good work. CRISPR treatment has just been FDA approved to cure sickle cell disease. There are about 10 to 12 million people in the United States who quilt. Most of them belong to quilt guilds that donate to homeless shelters, veteran shelters, other types of places where people need blankets. My quilt guild donated over 800 this year and we only have 80 people in our guild. Researchers have successfully cured HIV in several non-human primates. We're closer to a real cure. The days are long and the years are short as a criminal defense attorney. Sometimes I feel discouraged, hopeless, and exhausted. Last year, I took on a military service member pro bono because I sensed he needed my help and needed any hope I could offer him. I convinced a therapist to take on his case pro bono, too. Over the next year, he chose to be sober, attended therapy each week, and really worked to change. This week, I successfully dismissed his case. At his graduation, he told me he once had no hope for future and seriously contemplated suicide. But now, he is hopeful and looking forward for the future. Despite how hard my job is most days, it gave me the strength to keep going. My local animal shelter has a food bank for owners who can't afford food for their pets. And I'm sure it's not the only shelter that does it. David at Hunborough's still healthy. Thank you, Op, for this question. So easy to get caught up in and only see the bad. I appreciate you drawing attention to the good. There has been a major breakthrough in meaningfully extending the lifespan of people with ALS using drugs that are already on the market and FDA approved. Their effectiveness at treating ALS was discovered as a direct result of research funded by the massive influx of donations from the various ice bucket challenges of the early 2000s. The state of Illinois has been working to eliminate food deserts and prevent the loss of independent grocers in small communities. One example is in the southernmost town in Illinois, Cairo. They opened a grocery store in June. It's a co-op style store, so it's community owned and operated. This after 7 years without access to fresh food. It's become a life-changing service to some members of this community already. While it's been having some struggles, there has been a great deal of support from the community and from surrounding communities, which has me convinced it will pull through the struggles. If this succeeds long term, it will stand as a model for other communities to utilize in eliminating food access issues. Extreme famine has been decreasing significantly the past decade on a global scale. The sun is still going strong. The global movement to plant trees is quietly making strides. India set a world record by planting over 66 million trees in a single day, contributing to a positive impact on the environment and climate. Not significant for any of you, but pretty significant and really good for me. After telling my family and friends about the abuse I'm experiencing at home, we're secretly making plans to get me the heck out of here. I even have his friends on my side, and he doesn't suspect a thing. I'm a teacher and my class is super kind and well behaved for the most part. Gives me a little faith in our future. Southern Ocean right whales populations are growing at 7% a year. Bowhead whale populations have tripled and have almost recovered to pre-exploitation levels. Humpback populations in Australia have recovered and are higher than pre-exploitation. Others, which haven't recovered like the Atlantic right whale, have stopped their steep decline and hopefully can start the process of population recovery. Stopping the practice of whaling is, finally, having a positive effect. My dad and I, along with other members of the project, are volunteering at a facility to house and rehabilitate victims of child sex slavery and human trafficking. We are updating/refurbishing/creating new physical infrastructure to create a safe space. I can't tell you much about it because the name and location kind of need to be kept secret, but our location is in Southern California and the people that run the facility work with other organizations and the government to find homes for these people once they're rescued from slavery and are deemed fit to be released back into society. They are offered any schooling, training, or rehab they wish. So far all of the victims have been from South America even though they were found here in Southern California. Don't get me wrong, I'm not writing this for any kind of self-glorification, but rather so that you all will hear of the good things that actually do happen in the world. Unfortunately, there isn't any easy way for the public to contribute yet since the operation is still pretty new. However, this does not mean that you cannot donate to other organizations. Humpback whales are no longer endangered. I found out my dog doesn't have cancer. I about cried when I got the news. Hoping to spark some positivity after the post from earlier, not pointing fingers, it was really informative. The solar farm that is being installed in my rural area, that will power 10,000 homes at least, is ahead of schedule in construction. The expansion of renewable energy sources. Many countries are making big moves with wind and solar power. It's a positive development for the environment and the future, even if it doesn't always receive widespread attention. The possibility of cats' average lives being doubled. Had an extraordinary welcoming visit to the USA. So many kind and generous people. What a beautiful surprise. You should read Factfulness. His book is full with good news and he used trustworthy sources. On a whole, we still love each other and the small kindnesses given to each other are giving us a high. I'm starting to get sick of being high and drunk. Slowly turning into a regular human again. Locally, certainly in the East Midlands, UK, there has been a lot of opportunities take to rewild huge areas of land again. Golf courses, with rolling hills and ponds/streams, are having meadows returned and more trees planted. Farmland that's been mismanaged or untenable and literally being a waste of space is having forests replanted. I took my 2-year-old son to plant some birch, oak, and chestnut trees near to Sherwood Forest, along with several thousand others, all done by willing and happy volunteers. It may not seem much, but it's becoming much more popular. In the short term, we should see wildflower meadows, birds, bees, and woodland animals returning. In the long term, many years after our lifetime, there should be huge swathes of cities/countryside with accessible and diverse woodland and green spaces. Euthanasia rates at shelters, in the US, are less than half than 10 years ago, and less than 20% vs 50 years ago. Successful homing rates is just over 90%. In 1960 it was about 40%. Within 5 years, if trends continue, kill rates should be near zero, with the only kills being due to untreatable illnesses, such as rabies, or repeated aggressive behavior.